I'll introduce. Yeah, so no intro music tonight because I control everything and we were running late. And so I decided we don't do intro music. We're just jumping right
End
in.
of the year jump into Astrology and Alchemy. Astrology and Alchemy, guys, it's the last month. I can't believe it.
Which I must say for my friend Sarah here that I do feel bad when I do my trips and things and leave her on her own, because when it's reversed, I always say we're not doing a show and I don't come on. So I feel bad.
Don't feel bad, because I always feel bad when, if we don't do a show and someone's like, well, what's happening? Are you guys? And I'm like, no, we're not. It's just that we live lives. We are real people. We are not AI. We are not fake. We are not paid yet. Come on, 2024. Money, money, money. And so, yeah, the idea that if work comes up or something with children comes up, people, I think, forget that we are real living people. And I go on out of desperation of OCD and routine. And then I feel lost without you, because I'm trying to type and post and speak at the same time. And one of the things that we love, Chaley, Mary, Pepper, John, Matt, so good to see you guys in the chat, by the way, if you're joining us live. But one of the reasons I love the astrology and alchemy dynamic is it's a duality, which reflects the elements and the yin and the yang and the objective and the subjective and the feminine masculine. And I feel like we balance each other out in that way. It helps me keep my thoughts straight. And so when it's just me out there doing it, especially if people ask me an astrology question.
Which I have to say, and I know I shared some people when I was saying like how to do the different degrees and the 3 apart and 5 apart. I'll continue to share that so people learn. It's kind of my hack on how I learned astrology. But I will just say, and I love each and every one of you, but the people who do this as a job have like hundreds of thousands to million of people that watch. We have like a core group of like 50 and maybe like 100 that watch. So
thousands of people that watch it
on each and every one of you, but yeah, we're gonna have to like fit this into the rest of our lives, because this will not pay the bills.
People,
which is fine. It's all good. We love you all, but
you're not wealthy
it's just reality.
Right now? Yeah, it's not yet. 2024, we are manifesting independent wealth. I will be sharing more of the psychological explanations. I started a Substack because my website got hacked in August for my birthday. And so for those people wondering where Paranormal Sarah is, it's in purgatory by Squarespace. Squarespace apparently does this quite often to its customers. So I'm like sharing it with everybody out there. If your website is hosted by Squarespace, they could just say that you didn't pay them. And you could be like, no, I paid you. And they could be like,
to say, I got how I view a mafia level shakedown from Bluehost. It's for like $1,000. So I will not, to the point that I used to have a website that I do like my paranormal stuff, and like I shut it all down. Like I'm just going to do it off of Facebook for whatever it's worth, because I'm not going to get like a mob level shakedown for $1,000. And so I will never use Bluehost again, and would never recommend anyone to go to Bluehost, because I feel like they just extorted $1,000 from me.
Look at us. So for all you listeners out there, don't go to those sites.
Yeah, I don't know what this will do for the YouTube algorithm.
F those sites.
I'm totally fine on shitting on companies that I feel did me wrong.
Right. But of course it happened like in the time of year that like I really needed my website to work, like October, the busiest time of the year for Paranormal Sarah and my book and our stuff and our podcast. And of course people are like, where's your site? And I'm like, and that's a real thing. But yeah, it's just been kind of crazy. Man, Mary sharing in the chat room to just please throw her in an extra thought and prayers as Mary, I will say, if you can look ahead at the astrology for this month, it is describing the tumultuous experience you and your daughter are going through right now. Pepper adding happy Krampus Day. Krampus, the evil.
Which I have a story I have to share.
Of Krampus?
No, not Krampus.
Oh.
Just this date.
Oh, this date.
So it's very weird. 5 years ago, this date was a very significant date for me for a number of reasons. And then I was driving on I-40, which is a big interstate, when a herd of deer ran across the interstate, hit the car in front of me, flipped in front of me. I swerved to avoid the deer. barely avoided a semi to my right to that it only clipped my mirror. So I just figure I like barely avoided this, but I got to sit and watch Bambi die like in front of me. For a bunch of different reasons I don't want to go into. It's a significant date. So today I'm driving into work and a deer out of nowhere broadsides my car.
Oh,
does a hell of a lot of damage to my car. I come back, like there's a parking lot of a business like where the deer is laying now. So I come back and there was somebody that was just going into work. They're like, yeah, I saw it. There was nothing he could have done. Ran right into you. The deer I thought was dead kind of perks up a little bit. So I'm actually like a sap. I could never hunt, honestly. I felt guilty. Even I guess the cop had to put the deer out of its misery. And some people are like, you could have taken the deer. I'm like, I could never like eat something that I like did this to. I'm sitting here like petting the deer, trying to like comfort it as it's like just sitting there suffering, just like puking up blood. And all of a sudden it gets up, looks at us all and is like kind of confused. And so a bunch of us are like getting between the deer and the road so it doesn't run right back into the road and get hit again. And it ran off into the woods. And so the police come, they process everything. And then he's like, I feel really sad about this. So he's like, we're just going to let the deer in the woods and see how she's doing. Well, I processed all your stuff and write up the report. And I know I think he wanted to make me feel good because I was like, well, she got up and ran. He's like, well, you're good to go. And then I saw him like go into the glove compartment and get his gun out. So I knew what was going to happen because the deer was kind of like staggering. It was still moving, but it was kind of staggering. So I think it had like internal bleeding. So I drove away, but it's just awful. But
man, Krampus, really you hit a Wendigo thing.
I've had 2 events with deer exactly 5 years apart from each other.
Yuck.
So Krampus December 5th, Krampus Day, I'm next December 5th, I'm not going out on the road.
Are you naughty?
I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but the deer get crazy rutting season and stuff. Early December, at least around here, is where they're the craziest. So
they're having an extra deer shooting day just for the walking syndrome. The wasting disease, chronic wasting disease. So we have.
I feel bad, honestly, and I admit this, so I own this. If I had to kill my own food,
it'd be hard for
I'd be a vegetarian.
Really?
Yeah, because the guilt of it, like I could never be a farmer. I could never, or if I was a farmer, it would only be like vegetable stuff. Because
how interesting!
Yeah, I can't. Like I feel
for a softie.
Like I will truly, as bad as it, and I'm not saying this for pity, I will truly have like nightmares about like my little time sitting next to this deer, like petting it while it was like dying. I'm just I'm a sap.
You are a softie.
Well, I have this weird. Well, it's weird. I have this very weird. In my personality, I have a lot of dualities, and so there's this like duality between being a massive softie and being like a heartless butthole. And so, but with animals, I'm a complete softie.
And if you follow him on social media, you'll see the pictures to prove it. All of the creatures he picks up and takes home.
Oh yeah, I have an army of like 12 animals living in my house right now because I feel bad about any little animal.
And they find you. You like find them in the dumpster, and he's got to bring them home. And then he shares pictures on Facebook, and you get to name them, and then he keeps them.
I'm a softie to animals. I'm not a softie with people though, so don't pull that up here.
Damned.
You're like an orphan or something. Don't pull that with me because I'm much.
You're staying in the box, child. Here, come hither, Chihuahua. So anyway, they know where to go, and they do. They go where Matt is. But you guys, okay, let's focus because we've got some serious astrology, guys.
You're thankful when I'm on with you, but I feel like I always derail you.
You don't. It's perfect because this is, first of all, Krampus. Some people are really scared of it, and the superstition lives on. I also do the same thing on Friday the 13th. I don't drive. And then, I think it's important that people think that, at least see a little bit of your softie side. Some people need to see that.
And you know this. I haven't shared this with everybody, but I had a dream where I believe I was delivered my death date. And so I'm going to stay inside that day too. Which is not all that far away, but far enough away that we probably won't be having a show. Well,
that's good, I guess. Jeez Louise!
I shared it with you. I think it's your mom's birthday. I shared it with you.
Right. Which is weird because, people in my family with holidays and birthdays, it's always a weird thing.
But it's next death date.
So we'll deal with that when we get there. But you guys, If you are joining us for the very first time on Astrology and Alchemy, welcome. And get a piece of paper. If you don't have your piece of paper like I do, go get it now. I like to write things down. I like to make predictions when people, are getting readings or doing divination, or they're asking like, how do you hear things? How did you get so confident with that? It's practice, and it's doing things like this, putting pen to paper, writing down what you hear or what comes to you when you start seeing some of the evidence out in the realm. And then as it comes to you, you write it down, and then it comes to its own fruition in a week's time, and you're able to navigate your own visual cues, right? Archetypes, visions, messages, sounds. I don't know. What do you get, Matt? What do you see? How do things come to you as we do
I
this?
don't know
Because
how I like necessarily like. I definitely get like weird things as like sense, as weird as that sounds, but the rest of it is I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a gut feel. Like when we've done, and I've worked with Sarah, and I would advise other people to work with Sarah if you get the chance, on just like intuition, where she'd have like a picture or like geographic coordinates or things like that as a place. And I don't know exactly how the information comes in. It's just this kind of like amalgamation of things. And so there was one where she did a missing persons, and I got the Mutual of Omaha logo in my head. And I was like, that's stupid. I didn't say anything about it. And I regret that, because the missing person was from like Nebraska, from Omaha, Nebraska. And so that's just how I received the info. So I think it's different for everybody. So you just got to feel like what works for you.
Practice. Yeah, you got to practice.
Exactly. No, you got to practice. I think everybody has it. It's just a matter of how well you refine it.
That's right. That's real. So get your piece of paper out and put out your dots for what we have tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I have on my thing, and hopefully we have some of our house astrologers joining us in the chat to correct me and add things if there's things I'm missing, because trust me, I do miss things. But I have 2 dots. The first one I've shared in the chat is a moon. It's a moon thing. It's a little thing, but it's a moon thing. So if you're a menstruating person and the moon affects you, or you're just an overall yin, kind of watery, kind of you feel the tides, you live or farm by the moon, it might be effective. It's going to be waning into Libra tomorrow. So that's the first thing that we're going to experience when you think of just Libra. What kind of energy, what kind of vibe?
My disclaimer all along, and Sarah's much bigger on moon stuff than I am, but the moon changes its position every 2 to 3 days. So these impact you, but these are like very subtle emotional impacts. This isn't anything like when we talk about Pluto stuff, because Pluto changes so rarely, it's like huge. The moon is just like subtle nudges. So this is just a little move towards being a little more diplomatic, maybe a little less advocating for yourself, and more being more balanced and wanting to be at least perceived as fair. What I always say about Libra, though, which is interesting, is Libra is a cardinal sign. Just so you all know, the cardinal signs are the first astrological sign of the season. So Libra is the first sign in fall. So it's a cardinal sign. So they always drive things and drive changes. But Libra is so diplomatic, they drive things behind the scenes. So they actually manipulate people into doing the things for them. So just be aware of this. Even though this is a subtle nudge, some people may be trying to get you to do their work for them. So just be aware of that.
Ooh.
I like Libra energy. Full disclosure, I'm a Cap, but I have a stellium in Libra, so I have a lot of Libra energy. So I get it, but it is a little more. It's a little more just trying to work behind the scenes to get others to do the work for you.
Who's trying to get you to do their bidding tomorrow, huh? Yeah. Hey, it's one of that. I see Office Space. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in this weekend. Oh!
I always view it as the person that invites you over for dinner, and then after they give you the dinner, be like, did you really like that dinner? Oh, by the way, I just got like this delivery of firewood. Could you help me like load it? It's like that thing.
Dang. I knew you needed
they give you the benefit to then guilt you into doing something.
Now that you're here, now, God dang it.
That might not be fair, but that's how I describe Libra energy.
Okay, so that's going to be tomorrow morning. And then, dang it, as I write this and share it in the
Sarah's
chat.
favorite.
Oh, I clench. My body, my butt, everything just clenches. My body is a part of my butt. They're not separate. Neptune direct in Pisces. Why do I wince? Why do I squelter? Is that a word? Oh, squelter. I hate this. How do you feel about this for tomorrow?
All right, so this is always a weird one, and I know why you dislike it because Neptune's kind of dreams and delusions, and Pisces is its home sign, so it's kind of like dreams and delusions squared. And then I feel like when it's um, reverse or retrograde, it's actually like really misreading dreams and delusions. So now it's going direct. So I feel like there's more clarity with your dreams and delusions, but there's still dreams and delusions. So it's a little confusing. So I feel like there's some clarity, but it's still Neptune in Pisces is still deceptive energy. This is not reality influencing you. So I guess you get a little more clarity in this, but it's still not good.
Dreams kind of coming into vision, but you're like, what's real? How is this real? And it is, and things are coming into clarity and things are coming into vision, but not all of it. So whereas you're like, oh, well, then I can just, and at least my Virgo heart is like, I can stop worrying about this. The truth is that, well, what is real? It's going to change tomorrow anyway. So the stability of it being what I think it is today, by definition, it's not what it is. It's still a dream.
I feel this is kind of gross, but I view like Neptune and Pisces as if you saw the horror movie Oculus. I feel
Ooh.
it's like Oculus energy where the girl's like eating the light bulb and thinking it's an apple. And Neptune retrograde is like, oh, that apple is really good. I'll have another. And she eats the second light bulb. Whereas, at least now that it's going direct, you'll realize that it's a light bulb, not an apple that you're eating. I hope that makes sense to folks. But
Maggot scene in Snow White
it's
apple.
deceptive. I always say it's like foggy. It's like what you think you're seeing is not what you're really seeing. Neptune is always deceptive and trickery.
Pepper, dream, 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 dream. I hear that, but you know what? When you said that, I see the maggot in the labyrinth where she goes, Hoggle, what did you do? And she looks down, and it as the world falls down is that song that plays. Ooh, it's a David Bowie song. See, I'm going to stutter. I'm sorry. I do stutter sometimes, guys. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. Usually doesn't happen on camera. Do you see how that kind of came in there, though? Someone even just mentioning, like, how does musical inspiration or spirit guides come through? David Bowie shows himself to me a lot, or I hear him, and it's like he came through in a peach. That was a peach pit in that scene. But in this moment, tomorrow evening,
We haven't done music and songs in a long time. I remember we used to do like the random list and like pick.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull that up in case we decide to do that.
Yeah, we should. We were even doing our playlist, which we should do in January for the new year with our predictions. We should couple stuff with music. I think that should be a change that we make to the show. We'll put that in Sidewalk.
Yeah, I had a whole list of groups and songs for every single sign, like a top 10, and I lost my list.
No!
I have no idea where it's at.
I've been making it on YouTube, and then I kind of freaked out that I had 12 sudden new playlists on my YouTube and started kind of freaking out a little bit. But I do have them there. Thursday. God dang it. Thursday. I'm putting it in the chat room. Go ahead and put your dot on the calendar. What does thou foresee? There's only one real thing astrologically happening, unless we have someone in the chat room to give me some insight. But I have that Mercury in Capricorn trine Jupiter. That's my favorite planet in Taurus.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is Jupiter your favorite planet?
Because I imagine kind of like the hippo, that it's got such a round and buoyant and small feet and small ears. And like even in Fantasia, it's drawn as a ballet dancer floating and very nimble. And they are, but they're so dangerous. The juxtaposition. I love the black and white. I love the juxtaposition of a beautiful, model in a dump yard. or in a ghetto, like concrete and broken trash. I love those sharp, you know, segregating spaces, I guess. And so Jupiter is a gas giant. It's this huge gas giant with these swirling storms. But its mass is so small in there. I don't think you could ever really land on anything. If you tried to get to where Jupiter is to be there, you'd like land your spaceship and it'd be like the little prince. You'd like see your spaceship on the other side of the marble that you were on. It's not a real big thing, but it's so big. It has such a big influence, but it's not. I kind of like that about it. It makes me think of Chris Farley and how like he's a dead person, but the comedy lives on. Like it expands and it grows and you laugh and it gets funnier as you age even, but like he's dead and he's going to be dead even longer as time passes. It's so I don't know. That's how I feel about
Interesting.
Jupiter.
I just find it interesting.
Yeah. So
All
anyway,
right. So Mercury, thoughts and communication. I always, to be honest, I find Mercury probably the most boring of them all, even though I know when it's retrograde, communication is important. So this is communication in Capricorn. So it's the little goat climbing the mountain. So this is all accomplishment oriented. Trine is synergy. So this is working together with. Jupiter is opportunity. So I always view it as the car pulling up and saying, hop on in, we're going to. And the destination is the sign, which in this case is Taurus, which is stable and indulgent energy. So this is thoughts and communication to indulge oneself. So I feel this as, and I don't mean this this is going to sound more negative than I intend, selfish and self-serving energy. People are going to do things that make themselves feel good and indulge in things that make them feel good. And this is not a time for sacrificial energy. So this is not a day on Thursday to ask somebody to take one for the team.
Hey, can I get you to show up on Saturday? Nope, I'm going fishing.
Yep, that's the vibe.
And they're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Can you come and help me move this table? And so then to foresee that energy, and it's interesting because in the divination suggestions, I did kinetic energy, potential to kinetic energy, that you've got to do it yourself. You've got to be able to move it yourself. You've got to be able to cut a piece of cardboard, slide it under the things, and 5'1", 130-pound Sarah is going to squat down in a little fireball and push that furniture around on my own. No one's going to help me do it. I'm doing it by myself. I'm moving everything around. And that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just have to do it your darn self. And Jupiter, this is Thursday. You're going to have to do it yourself. I think of that little girl putting her safety belt on online. You want me to help you with that? Worry about yourself. Can I help you with your seatbelt? Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. It's going to happen. That's it. That's the only thing I have for Thursday, unless somebody has anything else in the chat room. Be sure and let them know. Okay. Are we ready?
I just sent you something for later. If anybody was wondering what I was doing, I just noticed a very interesting observation when we started talking about Jupiter, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah. Jupiter.
Interesting things happening in the whole...
in the realm.
And yeah, our whole video realm world here.
Okay. 2 things to put down for Friday. 2 dots on the piece of paper. So put it down. First one, Friday. It's another moon thing. Okay, so the moon getting smaller. We're working down to that new moon. And the moon is waning into, secret sauce. Scorpion. What sound does a scorpion make? It doesn't.
None. You just feel it when you get stung.
Oh, shit. I hope you knew which one it was. Moon. Waning into Scorpio. What does that mean? How do we feel about that?
You're going from diplomacy to Scorpio's intense. And it's funny, I had somebody comment in the chat years ago about this, and they just messaged me recently about, I know you hate Scorpios. Like, I don't hate Scorpios. They're intense. Scorpios and Caps, which I'm a Cap, are the 2 most intense signs, in my opinion. Scorpio is that emotional intensity. but they do a very good job of hiding it. So it's water energy. I view it as like a river. So, the surface of the river may look calm, but you have no idea what kind of currents are going underneath it. That's kind of a Scorpio. You never know what's kind of cooking behind the mask there, because they're very good at having a poker face and not letting you know what's cooking behind the scenes, but there's a lot of intensity behind the scenes, and so you don't know how that's going to manifest. So I feel like even though it's very fleeting energy, that moon energy is going to go from being very diplomatic and trying to nudge people to becoming much more introverted in nature and intense.
Well, and this is what's interesting and I should have posted maybe this one first, Matt, because it starts off saying that, look, this day, it's a Friday. It's a payday. It's a Friday. You got this particular energy happening after all the disclosure hearings, after all the workup of politics, after things blowing up in Washington, after really crazy weather and all sorts of kind of, headlines. Friday, you have a moon that's split on Libra and Scorpio. It's moving out of Libra. Remember that manipulated space we mentioned, into Scorpio. So it's going from air into a water space. So our feelings are going to get quiet and maybe even a little bit more.
And I feel a lot of that will depend on the reactions of the Libra energy. So what people did from those nudges or didn't do will feed into what the Scorpio intensity will be. So I don't know if there's a whole lot you can do predictive wise on this. I would just say awareness wise, be ready.
Be ready that if somebody starts the morning kind of telling you, you know what, I'm really upset about this, or you know what, I think that this needs to happen. They're kind of they're already speaking about their feelings, and you know what I feel. If you hear that word, they might give you some indication of the transformations happening within them. But by the end of the night, that manipulation is going to spill out in a way that isn't heard. It's felt.
Mm-hmm.
So just be aware and maybe not even take things personally on Friday. It's going to be a good day to kind of just slow down and continue to ride that self energy, boundaries, listening, a lot of listening.
I don't know why this popped up in my mind, so I figured there's a reason, so I'll share this. So as far as I'm concerned, out of the 12 signs, the sign that I would F with the least is Scorpios.
Scorpio. Oh yeah.
I would not cross. I would cross every other sign before I would consider crossing the Scorpio.
Do not F around.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
Or not find out.
And I don't even think it's. I don't know who I'd put for number 2 on that, but it's not even close. Like there's a big distance between number 1 and number 2 on who not to screw around with.
Maybe a Leo. They get really caught up on wanting to ruin your life for a long time.
I was kind of thinking Aries because I'm not used. I don't want the drama.
Very impulsive.
I just want to deal with them.
So
I won't get crapped on for hating on water signs, but to be honest, I feel like I hate on the fire signs. I really do feel like I'm kind of a butthole to fire signs, but all the water signs complain about me. I've never had a single fire sign.
We don't hate any one sign more than another. We don't discriminate.
No, here. I don't. But I get accused of not liking water signs, where I feel like I'm harsher on fire signs, but I've never had a single fire sign say, "Hey, you treat me unfairly." All the water signs, all three of the water signs have like complained in the chat about me supposedly crapping on them.
He craps on everyone equally, guys. Get over it. Okay, guys, Saturday. Get your pens and papers ready. Saturday. How many dots do I have? 1, 2. Okay, 2 things are happening on Saturday. That's December, 9th already? Holy macaroni. Get ready. Okay, so Saturday, I can't believe that. We're so close to Christmas, it's already starting to freak me out. Or Yule or solstice or whatever you might be celebrating. Saturday, the first thing, Venus. We know what that means, guys. Get your condoms and your wallets ready. Venus. Venus and what? Oh, no, Scorpio. We just kind of talked a little bit about Scorpio energy. So your art and your sexual, sensual, feminine vibes are in Scorpio. And that's opposite or opposition of that Jupiter in Taurus.
Cue the Barry White, because I see this as intensity and subtle emotional intensity in
Good.
that
What night is it?
romantic space,
Ooh.
having tension with opportunity in stability and indulgence. So I think this is very strong hookup energy for Saturday.
And slow.
It can take advantage or beware, depending on your life situation.
I had written the sloth energy can surge you into a space of having a lack of motivation to do anything, but give yourself the break if possible. So, like, give me a break. The Kit Kat.
I think this is high level seduction energy. So you just got to be ready.
High level seduction.
If you were the seducer, use it to your advantage. If you're on the receiving end of being in danger of being seduced, be wary.
Ooh, be aware of predator and prey vibe. It's a Saturday night.
It's a Saturday too. This is like one of those. I wish I was a fly on the wall type.
So what just got paid? Who sings that? Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody.
What else? Who sings that?
So somebody in the chat room help me. Anyway, that's gonna be the vibe. And Jupiter, ooh, put a little
opportunity to indulge
on it. What are you doing in there? Cocaine with cocaine? Jupiter, I always think of Chris Farley. I think of just
but yeah, I think like the drug thing would be more of like a Neptune or Mars or something like that.
LSD,
Venus, I'm thinking sex. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is sex.
Sensual. Red light special. R&B. Keith Sweat kind of stuff. Whoop. Is there R&B anymore? Was that a phase? What do they do now for sensual music? Is there sensual music anymore? That's sad. That's a whole nother show.
How can I say this in a nice way? I'm extremely, my musical tastes are extremely bland or pale, I guess is the best way to word it. So
you like
I don't have any musical interest in the R&B space. Not that I don't think it's good. It's just not my thing.
Sure. But I mean, like, the Deftones aren't coming out with new shit or anything, are they? Dang. Anyway.
No, and even I'm a little older for Deftones wasn't my thing either. So.
Oh.
Although I think they're from this tree. I think they're from the musical tree of stuff I like, but
they are from the same musical tree. Okay, guys, if you're in the chat, send me musical suggestions. We need to know if you've got some Shiny Toy Guns Depeche Mode covers. I want to hear them.
I'm a punk goth, like dark music guy.
Ooh, yeah.
For anyone who cares.
We care. We care. If you can name that reference, you get 20,000 bonus points for the day. Saturday PM. Saturday PM. It's a moon thing. Oh, and it's waning. It's continued to get less and less in the sky. If you go out there and look at it.
I hate to call this up, but I don't see that as any different than Friday.
It is a little bit, though, because then you got that Venus stuff happening, and then you got somebody calling like, "Where are you at?" And the person's like,
yeah. So I guess it's more intense.
It's like paranoia, feelings of suspicion, a little drama, subsiding, getting less and less, lessening. Or are they thinking of? Ooh, I think of yeah, I think of like Depeche Mode kind of music here for sure. Reach out, very cool. But that's all that's happening Saturday. I'm watching the clock and I'm like, wow, we're yapping a lot tonight. That's okay. We can yap if we want to. It's Sunday.
We only got 3 days left. I don't know how many dots you have, but we only have 3 days left.
Well, Sunday only has 1 dot. So, depending if you guys are joining with us in the intuitive stretching of our minds, and you should be, by the way, if you're listening, go ahead and write it down. That's how you make it happen. Sunday, that's the 10th, December 10th. The moon. It's just another moon thing. So calm down. But something's happening with it. Something's happening with it. And it's a thing I don't like as a social worker, as someone who works with people, specifically sex offense treatment or violent crime. The moon waning in Scorpio, still mysterious, but less and less. And it's trine Neptune in Pisces. There it is.
There it is. So where Saturday was all about sex, Sunday's all about drugs. because this is emotional intensity having synergy with this whole deception and introspection. And as Sarah says many times, this Neptune and Pisces combo is just rife for substance abuse type stuff. And so this is just that emotional intensity feeling like for whatever reason, this is the right thing to do. So there's going to be a very huge escapist energy on Sunday. So where Saturday it could be escapist as well, but it's escaping yourself in a, physical relationship. Sunday's more escape through a vice that doesn't involve another person. So however that might be, whether that's drugs, alcohol,
the vice,
music, or movies, video, whatever that is, it's more of a introspective, doesn't involve another human being escape. Whereas Saturday is more connecting with another person to kind of escape.
Man, this is some really interesting, like Achilles comes through for me on this because I start talking about, I look ahead, you guys, if you join me on social media, you know that at the beginning of the month, I do the whole month ahead. Like I kind of channel, I sit down with my music, I have my coffee, and I do the whole month of astrology. I send it out to my Gypsy tribe members so that they have the month in advance to kind of prep their month, see the moon phases, see what's going down, kind of prep anything going in retrograde. And then each week when we do this show, anything that's added in the chat, anything that I go, oh shit, I need to correct that, anything that Matt adds, it goes on and just thickens that document that I share online with all the people in our little coven. And I had written that this is a great day for channeling or spirit boards or ITC devices, but to know your weakness, the shadow work. Mm-hmm. Know your vice.
Now I would recommend trying to avoid it on Sunday because this is bad. It's going to feel right. It's going to feel right on Sunday, but I feel like this Neptune and Pisces is never a good path to follow because it's wrong. It's deceptive. So the things that will feel good on Sunday are probably not the right path to follow.
Don't eat the loaded nachos. In my case, because my vice is food. So I'm going to be probably watching a darn football game, and I'm going to have eaten a whole bag of chips I shouldn't have eaten, and then someone's going to show up with a thing of nachos, and I'm going to be like, what? And then I'm going to eat it all again, and then I'm going to feel horrible, and then I'm going to puke it up. That I shouldn't do that. Good thing I can prepare. So I already know I won't do that on Sunday. But then Monday comes around. It could be any vice you guys might have. Insert your own stuff. Monday, 2 dots. One of them's a moon thing, right? These things matter, I'm convinced. And the second thing's a little bit bigger. So let's do the first one. Let's do the moon thing for Monday. Pepper says it's chocolate for me. Hey, Aldi's has these little lava cakes. They come in a little shot glass so you can keep the glass afterwards for like your daily vinegar shots, because I don't drink, or like potions or elixirs or whatever you're doing. Maybe you've got like some oils or stuff that you're doing, oil pulling. I don't know what you want to use it for, but it's cool. It's in glass. You can keep it. And anyway, it's a chocolate mousse. Oh, they're just so great, Matthew. They're so great. Monday.
What do we got?
First thing, moon. Waning into, thank God it's moving out of that Scorpio sign. Our feelings move into a fire sign.
Yeah, so you go from that internal intensity to now outward explorer. Sagittarius is the explorer. Sure, I'll try it. So you're moving from that intensity to reaching out and trying different things. So
shine on.
But again, because it is the moon and it changes every 3 days, these aren't like huge, like energetic shifts. These are like subtle nudges. So,
but it's good for a Monday.
A little more. No, it's very good. But so, I'd say there's this nudge to try new things on Monday, but it's not going to be like this overwhelming shove, if that makes sense.
No. Monday the 11th, I think about, man, this will be next Monday. I've got all sorts of weird things happening in and around in my life, some new changes, some new business adventures, just some new new people I'm interviewing, new and subtle things around the corner. And this is exciting because I think, man, sometimes Monday you think, it's Monday. This is going to be a little fiery, a little optimistic, at least those feminine urges or those feminine go out and it might have been manipulative over the weekend. They're going to feel a little bit more fiery and happy, joyful, maybe. Light work. I put light work in the divination space for those of you who do light work. Good thing on Monday. And one more thing's happening on Monday. Let's put this.
I feel like if there was like the random hookup on Saturday, Monday, I'd be like, hey, maybe I will call them back. And who knows? Maybe it'll turn into a relationship.
Right. Or they're going to be like, no way. Yeah, that's cool. You left your stuff here. Come get it. I didn't throw it out and burn it. I have it right here. You know what I mean?
See, here's the answer to that question. I should have waited till you.
Monday night. Mercury's in Capricorn. We talked about that, communication in an earth sign. Sextile Venus in Scorpio.
So I view sextile as removing obstacles. So I'm going to start with the back end of this. Venus in Scorpio is kind of that, again, romantic and in that emotional intensity. So I almost view like secret crush. So this is kind of, actually, in hindsight, I think this has good synergy with the moon in Sagittarius. This is like, if your communication, if you want to achieve, if you're viewing as achievement being something in the romantic space of someone you've had romantic intensity, like intense feelings for, those obstacles remove themselves. So Monday is a good time to act on that communication in that romantic space to someone that you have intense feelings for. And the moon being in Sagittarius, there's that little nudge of sure, why not? So not saying it's going to work for 100% of the people out there, but your odds are probably better on Monday than they are other days.
It's going to be an interesting follow-up and a strong start to the week. It's going to be a really interesting month. I just want to say that because I cheat and look ahead. Because I need to be a psychic. Come on, guys. And so I know it's already going to happen. But only one thing's happening on Tuesday, but it's a big thing. So frugal gypsy witches, get out to your dollar stores now and get those candles. I like to decorate mine with Sharpies and all sorts of stuff and get it ready for the new moon and the full moon. And of course, Tuesday is a new moon. New moon. New moon before the Yule. New moon to start prepping for stuff. And it's a new moon. Blank sky. Darkness out there. Predators are out. The ones that can see in the dark. They're the only ones out there. The ones that can't see, hell no, I can't see what's out there. I'll wait. I'll wait till next week. I'm not doing it. I don't feel confident. I don't feel strong enough. All the animals in the realm. A new moon. This is a different space. We do something, but this is in Sagittarius. How are we going to use this, Matt?
So I always view this as, and I guess you can kind of go either way. So new moon in Sag means full moon in Gemini. So I call this a Gemini cycle. So this is all about communication and decisions. Gemini I always view as kind of like the crossroads, or, you have, because of the two-faced piece of it, that you have to make a decision which way you're going to go. And since Sagittarius is all about exploring and trying new things, I feel this is really like a cycle of, which is very interesting that it's the end of the year. So you get into this whole like New Year's resolutions and all these. So it's really a energy of what path do you want to chart for 2024? And so that starts and really hits its, peak on Tuesday. So start thinking about that, kind of what you want to plan, what kind of goals you have for 2024. I always find it interesting that the energetic space aligns very well with what people just intuitively start doing as they start, looking in retrospect on the year that's ending and lining out what they want to do for the year ahead.
So divorces, career changes, evictions, probations, what else? Things that are ending, decisions you have to make. New relationships, old relationships, new apartment, old apartment, new house, old house, new career, old career, new self, old self, new addictions, old addictions. What are you going to choose? What are you going to do? What are you going to pick? Do you already know what those are?
I don't, but I will be giving it.
Some people are already getting this nudge because remember, this is exactly a week from today. That things happened. We go back to Tuesday, today, it's a last quarter moon in Virgo with Venus in Scorpio, Saturn in Pisces. Joy is able to grow, but ventures are getting worrisome because we need to get stuff done. Virgo, where are we going? What are we doing? What's happening? Check this, check that, checking our list, checking it twice. And then we're going to have this new moon exactly 7 days from today in Sagittarius, like you said, helping us make decisions and also communicating them. So if you have made a new career choice that you're at this time, look at it, it's the 12th, you're going to make decisions for, by the way, when I come back from the new year, I'm going to be in a different office. New year, new role, new title. Might have a different last name. Getting married, having a baby. I'm moving. I'm taking a new job, a promotion into a new city. Something is going to shift for people. Something is going to change. It might be something that they're recycling out of a bad situation, something they didn't even plan. Maybe a pet is passed away, or a friend has passed away, or something has shifted that starts a cycle, a humble space of that. Like you said, the new year, the new ego. People start making their New Year's resolutions. I think charting is a good word for Sagittarius because I always think of the archer pulling back like Legolas and like knowing, like Robin Hood, what arrow you're splitting, being able to have that vision and how you're doing it, method to your madness. What are you shooting at? Next Tuesday, we'll know. Next Tuesday, you'll have the ability to write it down, put it on a vision board, and start making it happen already before the new year, when everyone else will be doing it on January 2nd. What do you think, Matt?
No, I totally agree. I think it's a good
new moon. What are you doing for the new moon in Sagittarius?
Well, I'm a different little some people get this wrong about me, but just a little bit of share. I'm a little bit of a different animal. I don't necessarily hash out lots of goals. I think we've shared this before about animals and stuff. I feel myself, I'm kind of like an alligator in that I just kind of like lay low and scan for opportunities. And then when the opportunity presents itself, I move very, very quickly, advance to the next position, and then go back and hide. So yeah, I don't necessarily chart out what I'm specifically want. I have a list of things that I'm interested in and kind of just scan. And when the path clears to achieve a goal, I move really quickly and then move back into the background.
I want to confess something to everyone listening, that I've been a real hypocrite in some spaces as a visualizer from the show me state, that I say that, and I have vision spaces, I have altars where I keep items or things that I can visualize, but they're just cryptic things that only I know what they mean. And I really need to do a better job, because I tell my clients to do it, of making a vision board. And in therapy, we map out our issues. We draw them out. It really is a cognitive behavioral approach to help make things happen. And I don't practice it myself. And I really need to take the time this year, sit down with my family members who like to do art. And before I throw out all those old magazines and books and things I don't need for the new year, I'm going to pull some pages out and actually write it down, map it out, chart it out. This would be a good new moon to do that for, I think. Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I've got my tarot deck. How long do we have before our cutoff? It doesn't show me.
Well, we have 7 minutes, but we don't officially ever really cut off on this. So it's whenever I choose to hit the button.
Whenever we want. You guys, you can download us for free and tune in anywhere that Odyssey Radio and Subspace Radio are found. You can just search Astrology and Alchemy. We've been doing the show for a few years now, and then Matt and I have also been doing our podcasts both separately and together. We've guest hosted for each other for almost 12 years, 13 years almost. We're getting into
we're working together for a long time.
It's crazy. That's crazy. It doesn't feel like that long, but I guess it has been. So that's kind of cool. Tarot readings, always something we like to throw in there. If you guys would like a birth chart reading, if you want to give an interesting gift, we can make a really cool gift card for you guys, for yourself. If you want to use that new moon energy for yourself and charting, you want us to do a birth chart reading, hey, we would love for you to do that. Contact us and let us know. Matt just got his car hit by a deer, and I'm trying to get to Kansas City. Okay, let's pull a card for anybody out there who wants to give us permission. I'd like to pull a card, though, just for the week. What do we have to do for the week?
And I love, every once in a while, we pull the same card, which is really cool.
What's going to
happen?
happen?
The odds of that are really rare, so I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Extremely
but I got
rare.
2 of Swords.
You got what?
2 of Swords. All right.
2 of
Go
Swords.
ahead, go first.
Okay. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands, I think of luck. I think of gambling. I think of making a choice. And you can see here, this person, Wands is action. It's what you're doing. It's trying to get through. Oh my gosh, are you going to make it? Are you going to get from point A to point B as you wobble to yourself there? It's hard to say for certain. It's a gamble, but it is looking good. And you do have the skills to do it. So hang in there and just
notice
stay
how
focused.
both cards are somebody on a tightrope.
Yeah. Yeah.
I view as, Swords is more thoughts than actions. And so this is kind of like balancing between 2 choices. So that's how I view that, as which way are you going to go?
Which way will you go? Okay. Justin in the chat. I love seeing Justin in there, and Pepper and Ruth. Justin said, pull me one. Got one.
Give me a second. I'm going to say, we do this differently. Sarah will pull her deck and then just start pulling them off the top. I shuffle mine. Now it's the one on the top now, but I shuffle mine and then I'll think of like Justin, and then it'll kind of tell me where to cut it. And that's where I cut the deck. So we do this a little differently. So my Justin card is, oh, interesting.
What?
I love getting the Fool.
Oh, okay. I like that.
This is the first card of the whole deck. So this is like new beginnings, new start. So I always feel like whatever your question was, Justin, or anyone out there, when you get this one, it means you're starting on something new. It's a new beginning. It's a new start. It's a fresh start. I always view that as a positive.
It is a positive thing, and I love that. I would agree. And I love it with the Knight of Cups. What do you say for the Knight of Cups when you see this one, Matt?
So I know sometimes they represent people. So not knowing people's personal lives, this could represent a specific person. I always view Knights as, if you kind of view as like kings and queens as like mom, dad, Page is like little kid, Knight is like teenagers. This is like teenage energy. And Cups is like water. It's the emotional space. So I feel this is like teenage energy in an emotional space. So this can be a little bit of romantic or emotional vibes, but not necessarily fully developed. So that combo with the Fool makes me wonder, maybe some, again, I don't know your situation, Justin, but maybe some romantic stirrings in that space, or at least emotional, maybe a new emotional space in that. But again, because it's the Knight, it's not like fully baked. It's kind of that more high school, teenage type level, but it is emotional.
And I love the picture here because there's these fish. It's like, look at him. He's not out like slaying a dragon right now. He's having tea on his horse. But it is relationship. It is intuitive. I always think of the Knight of Cups as the person going out to do the things that they want and indulging in those things and still stopping for tea. So we might be slaying the dragon, but we're still going to stop for the things we want to do. And when I think of the Fool, it's kind of establishing those routines. So hopefully that makes sense with, whatever you're asking about. Ruth, so good to see you. Pepper says, I need a card. Pepper needs a card.
So I got Page of Wands.
What?
So I got to share that one. Knight of Swords. Interesting. So pages can also represent like the child, but I always look at pages as messengers. And so you have the different suits. So, Earth, you could have the messenger of material things, or water, messenger of emotion, air or swords, messenger of ideas. Wands is fire, so it's action. So it's messenger of action. So I see this as getting a message to act and do something related to your piece.
Which you think of the Knight, again, this action piece. It's got everything it needs. It's got all the skills that it needs, and it's going to be taking action to go, in this case, fight a battle. And when I think of someone fighting a battle for me, I want it to probably be the Knight or Queen of Swords. The King of Swords, the battle's already over and you're not going to get a word in. But in the Knight, there's going to be some action still yet had. He's going into battle. And this might even say that, maybe you're going into a place of conflict, but I'm not worried about it because the Knight is fully capable of overcoming. So kind of cool.
So I almost feel like, feel like in the idea space, how idealistic like teenagers are. And so it's like that idealistic teenager energy telling you to act on something. So it's very interesting. Sometimes I feel that energy of youth is more pure, not as jaded, but there's also a naive level of it. So filter that before you act as to whether that nudge is really worth pursuing or not.
Pepper said, "Man, I need to fight to clean my house." The urge and the action to get there and to to overcome and get the things done by the holiday, I feel for certain. Ruth said, "What kind of reading is this? What are you doing?" So these are tarot cards, not oracle cards. There's a big difference. Tarot, I think, is definitely more going to be, man, you can really go down the wormhole as far as scripture, spell work, mathematical, relative to any and all cultures. I love tarot decks. Oracle cards can be random. They can be 5 cards, 10 cards, 120 cards, done by the artist and randomly for whatever message that deck is about. Tarots are pretty consistent. So I like being able to have Matt pulling from his deck, me pulling from my deck, and we both have numerous decks that we pull from. You won't always see the same one. And for those people, again,
although to be honest, I feel like connected to my steampunk deck, so I use that one like 90% of the time. Although I have multiple decks, I
love mine.
I feel like this one's like goofy. I have a good connection with this one.
Yeah. And every deck has a different personality. Sometimes when I do deck openings, we do readings, and you'll notice the different personalities that decks have and the way that the artists do the rendition of the card tells a kind of a different perspective of what should be always the same meaning to each card.
Which so I'm going to put a little plug. Let us know, folks out there, if you would ever. We've considered coming on another night and doing strictly these types of readings. Things. So let us know if you guys are interested in that, because sometimes we've done it and I guess we didn't give enough advance notice. No one shows up. So we'd be happy to do it for a much longer time than what we're doing right now. But
yeah, 2024, I'm doing more work from home. Oh, Lori wants one. Boom. I've already got one for Lori.
Lori, I'm sorry. I hope this means something. I hate getting this card, saying ahead of time.
Okay. The Tower.
10 of Swords. No, I would take Tower over 10 of Swords. I view as the card of defeat. So I don't know what that means. I don't know what your question is. I apologize in advance, but I feel we'll get better insight when Sarah flips her card. Ooh, I view that as... I'm just going to add before you give your interpretation. I always view that as the help card. Mm-hmm. So I will interpret this as if you're looking for somebody for help, they're not going to give you what you need.
They're not going to pull through on that one. But help is going to come. And when I get the six of Pentacles, this is about like, it's not going to be like the first time, or that engagement isn't going to be like the first engagement. Or when you go and ask for this, it's not going to be like the first time you got it. It's going to be different. Nostalgia is going to speak differently to you, and the investments that you've made are going to be a different space. It's just going to be different. So the information also might be off as you know it to be.
And I saw her and I just gotta say sorry, Lori. That's one thing I hate about doing. There's like 3 or 4 cards that I hate pulling, and you never know what you're gonna pull. And so I always hate when somebody live is like, pull me a card. And that's like my least favorite card to pull. So I'm sorry.
Well, but this is, and I would say that tarot, for those of you guys interested in starting, the sharpening of your own intuition, why tarot is so popular and widely used is because once you understand the math and the setup of it, because it's just 4 categories of the numbers and then the major arcana. And once you get those stories and you see what it is, I don't have to use much intuition at all. I can go to the cards and they're going to tell me the answers. So I don't have to, I can be having a bad psychic day and still give a really great tarot reading because your faith is in the deck.
Full disclosure, I guess probably because I'm a Cap, I always want to succeed and win. So I view the 10 of Swords, the defeat card, worse than the Tower card, even though I could make a similar case for both. the tower is that change that comes way out of left field and like rocks your world and blows everything up. But I always feel like that could lead you to something positive. By the same stroke, the 10 is a defeat. The 10 of swords is a defeat, but that could also lead you to something positive. It's just, I guess I'd rather have the random thing come in and blow up my world and have me regroup than have a defeat staring me in the face. That's my own crap. I guess you could both view it as that defeat could open up something more positive down the road. But I personally, that's my least favorite card to pull. So
yeah, it's not my least favorite card.
Ruth wants one. What is yours? The tower?
I probably hate delivering the tower, but also I don't personally like the Queen of Swords. I feel like that's usually like a fight with a mother-in-law or sister or something that's not going to go the way people want.
All right, I got 8 of Pentacles. I view this as so Ruth, I don't know what your question is, but I view this as the work card. There's a little worker bee making more and more pentacles, and so I feel this is a very work-focused answer to your question, which will be tied to what Sarah's card is, but I say work.
Page of Swords.
Message of a new idea. So maybe a new work opportunity?
Da, 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 da. The sword and the stone. The page of the person who is bringing into the argument the new piece of information. The conflict that you have has now been removed and we're ready to fight about it. So there's going to be a new motivation and momentum in the conflict that you may or may not be having. Or the ideas that you've been struggling with are going to get kind of a push in a new direction that you might feel sharper about.
She's dealing with loss. I would say the fact that this is Pentacles and the Page of Swords, I feel like you're going to get a mess. Oh, whoa. Okay. This very much hits then that I feel like you're going to get a job-related message. So hopefully that doesn't mean the past of what you lost, but that it means that you have another job opportunity on the way. Before you shared that, I was going to say that this speaks to me as job or business opportunity. So hopefully that means you have good news right around the corner.
Especially for the new moon. And you might even find yourself having to choose between one or the other. So more than one. So kind of be ready for that. Man, it's so much fun doing tarot readings. I love doing readings and interpreting how the cards answer for people. You guys, if you want a full reading, especially for Krampus, maybe you want to know what's been naughty in your life, or if you're on the naughty or nice list, Matt and I are always running specials. So feel free to invest in that. Let us know. Reach out. You can get him at msolosier@yahoo.com. Personally, that is the way. And you can also reach me at the Paranormal Sarah @gmail.com. And you guys, if you have any questions or any thoughts on things you'd like to see, send those message requests and private messages our way, however it is you're watching. If that's on Odyssey Radio, if that's on Subspace, YouTube, all the places.
And I'll just add, just reach out to us because we will do a multi-card, both of us kind of yin and yang video with you. If you want to do kind of this single card one, but a multi-card one, we will do that. But you got to reach out to because we got to set it up. So,
yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Pepper said, man, just looking at the decks made her go shopping. And I like hearing that, you guys. And hopefully you guys will share the decks that you get with us. Let us know. Bring your own deck with us. Pull one and see if you get the same card that we're pulling. That kind of stuff is always freaky. But at the very least, join us next Tuesday. It's every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We really hope to see you there. I want to see you. Matt wants to see you. And we'll be talking about what to expect. And we'll be seeing all the predictions that we made come true. Until then.
Sounds great. Have a good night, everyone. Again, no video. I'm just going to end it. So good night, everyone.